So this morning at church was a really, I knew that God was there moving in the heart of one of the students because he jumped to the end of my lesson before I ever got there. He was already there. He was talking with the other teacher about um, ha- feeling like he had wasted his senior year. And so the idea and the question was about Samson. You know, did Samson finish well at the end of his life? And we can say, well, I guess so. You know, he brought down um, the temple. You know, and but what about all the years leading up to that? You know, after he was making excuses with the honey and then making excuses and playing, seeing how close he could get to the line with Delilah. And so, you know, I was talking to the guys about their senior year and asked them, you know, about what's different. And this one student, he was on it, man. He was like, I wasted my senior year. And you know, and I asked the question, you know, what's different? Well, for one of the first questions I asked was, what happened back in August? And then one of them said, well, we started our senior year. And I said, well, of course, I'm cutting the conversation down a little bit, but I said, what's happened since August? And of course, this guy knew what the answer to that was. The answer was nothing. The other guys, some of them, you know, didn't know. But this guy did. This senior did. He knew he had wasted his senior year because nothing was different since August when he started his senior year. Now he's heading off to college. This is what he said. I'm heading off to college, and I'm like, I've wasted my senior year. I'm in, hang out with my friends, and I see what they do and what they say, and this I can. He said his words were, I can see right through it. The emptiness of their life, the fake. He didn't use the word hypocrisy, but just the emptiness and so God was showing him. He said he was talking with his parents and he was seeing what he had done. He wasted his time, and so there in Judges 14 and verse 20, you got Samson flirting with Delilah and letting her flirt with him, and then he fell asleep and she cut his hair. And then verse 20 says, and he did not even know that the Lord had left him. What a sad, sad place to find yourself. You know, I've said to these guys and men that I disciple that the greatest place for the believer to find himself is completely satisfied with God and where he is in his walk with God. I don't need money. I don't need relationships. I don't need success. I don't need possessions. I don't need these things in order for me to have peace in my heart. That's the first place to find that for a believer to find himself. The second greatest place for a believer to find himself is completely dissatisfied with where he is in his walk with God. To think that the God of the universe invites you into a relationship. He looks for you like he did Adam in the cool of the evening. And they walk together in the garden. And then God has taken the initiative in sending his son to die for us. And so we've got God coming to us to have initiating and providing for a relationship. So the second greatest place to find yourself is completely dissatisfied. If the God of the universe would continue to pursue me, Luke 15, like the prodigal's son, his father pursued. If that God would continue to pursue me, how much more is there? I mean, who could plumb the depths of the love of God? And if he loves me and I've got a little glimpse of what that love is like, man, I want more. I want to keep on pursuing more. So here we are, and it says that Samson didn't even recognize his relationship with God was so jaded and so inoculated and benign that he didn't even know. He had played with sin so much he didn't even know that God had left him. What a devastating place to find yourself. So this is one of the last thing, one of the things that we talked about this morning in our community group, in our Sunday school class at church. That how sad it is that so many Christians, people who say they're Christians, they might be, they might have walked with the Lord at one time, but they've slowly drifted away and made excuses, and to the point that they have become useless for the kingdom of God, and God walked away. And like it says up in Judges 13 and verse 1, and then in Judges 14 and verse 20, that Samson didn't even know that God had left him. What a sad place to find yourself. Now, the good news is, if you want to come back, you can. The bad news is, you better do it as quick as you can. Don't play with your free will or the sovereignty of God. So I encourage you, if you have drifted, that you start coming back, and you come back now, starting right now. Be the wisest thing you could do.